Alright, so currently when we play our game, let's see, what you will notice is that, okay, hang on a second. Alright, so gotta get past, no, I'm bad at playing the game. Okay, so, when I get to the end, so you can see how many lives I have and the time and all that other business, but when I go like this, everything's gone, okay? There's a couple reasons for that. So yours might go to the next level, but what you will notice is that you'll have the player in there, but everything basically will reset. So what's happening is this. Basically, we have level 1, which is fine. It's as it should be. And when I go to open up level 2, okay, I might have my various things like the player and all those other elements, but they're new. So everything that's in level 1, what happens is that Unity will destroy them. Okay? It's just like Thanos, finger snapping, gone. And then it goes to level 2, and boom, all fresh, smooth like a baby's bottom. Really nice, right? And that's great and dandy, and to a large extent that's what you would want, but one of the issues is that you might want to transfer, like maybe you accrued a certain number of powers or life or, whatever. You want to pass information on from one level to the next. What we're going to do is I'm going to set up a system, basically, where what we're going to do is we're going to tell Unity to not destroy certain things, and they'll just carry on from level 1 to level 2. And that's basically the lump sum of it. And it actually will make things a little bit more streamlined for us as well, for all the levels. So we don't have to create a new player and everything on every level. We're going to just group everything together and say, don't destroy these things. Then when it goes to the next level, we'll be all good to go. Okay, so I'm going to go back to level 1. And first thing I want you to do is we're just going to go ahead and create an empty. And we'll just call it we'll call it static objects. Basically, it's just objects that do not move. And I'm just going to zero out all the transforms, at least the position and rotation, so that it starts out at 0, just because you usually want things to be at origin, because that's nice and clean and it makes everything nice. Okay, so everything that I want to transfer from this level to the next level, I'm going to slap on in here. And pretty much every level is going to have certain things. So first off is going to be the player, right? Let's go ahead and throw the player in there. Badoop. Great. The platform here, that's not one of them. Game controller, that's in every level. So let's go ahead and throw that into static objects. So I'm just clicking and dragging it in there. Life is not one of them. This canvas, which I don't have a good name for, but basically that's the life and the timer. I'm going to go ahead and slap that on the static stuff. So that's my GUI, basically, right, or UI. And let's see, the pause menu. Yeah, that would be a good thing to have. So let's put that also into static objects. Let me collapse this canvas. And then audio controller. Yeah, I would also like that to be on every level. Okay, so basically, the player, the game controller, my UI, my pause menu, and the audio, that should be on all the levels. So anything you want to carry on from this level to the next level should be slapped on in there. There's 2 more things, actually. The camera would be nice. Solo. We'll go ahead and throw that on there so that we don't have to create a new camera every time. And this, our camera controller from the Cinemachine, we are also going to put that into static object. Okay, good. Now we have all of our bits and business that we want to not get moved. I'm going to go ahead and save this. Okay. That is not actually going to solve anything. We have to actually do it through code. But what we're going to do in code is we're basically going to say, take this object, the static objects object, and say, don't kill me. And hopefully it won't. So that's basically the idea of it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to throw that onto a script, and we'll use the game controller script. Go ahead and double click on game controller script, and it's going to go over to my second screen because I have 2 screens. Sorry to flex. Okay, so right down here, what we're going to do is this. So you might remember that when we do update basically runs every rendered frame. Every frame that you physically see, that's update, right? And I don't have fixed update, but fixed update is based on every physics frame. And start you might go, oh, that's the one that runs once at the beginning. You are right, but also wrong. Because basically start, what it does is it runs on the first rendered frame. Okay, so most of the time, we've been throwing everything in there, and honestly, we've been throwing things in there that we should not be throwing in there. I just didn't want to throw new things at you. But there's actually another one that's called void awake. And what this means is that as soon as whatever this script is attached to, as soon as it's instantiated, as soon as it exists in the world, right? As soon as it comes out of its mama, it's going to run what's there before it even does start. So awake actually happens before start. And what I want to do is I don't want to wait for the game to start. I want it to happen right off the bat as soon as this is done, or as soon as this is created, that it's not going to do, or it's going to do what I want it to do. So in this case, what I'm looking for it to do is to do a very obvious thing. And this is a built-in method inside of Unity. It's just, what do we want to do? Don't destroy on load. It's pretty obvious, right? And what I don't want it to destroy is basically this. You know, I was doing it one way. We can actually do it this way. Let's do get component in parent, because if you remember, this game controller script is actually parented, or is parented to the thing above us. So get component. Actually, I don't want to get component parent. Sorry, it's the object it's attached to that I don't want to destroy. So we're going to do don't destroy and load, and the thing I don't want to destroy is going to be game. Oops, not this. Sorry, game object. Oops. Game object dot find, and the game object I don't want to destroy is going to be static objects. And if you remember, that's what I named that group. So basically what it's going to do is it's going to say don't kill the group static objects. The nice thing about this is it's not going to just not destroy the objects. It's actually going to this object, anything that's in its hierarchy, it is also not going to destroy, which is a pretty good benefit. Okay, so we'll just test this out. Okay. And let's see. Okay. So we got my guy here. Just gonna try and get past this enemy. And then you can see, boom. And sort of is working, sort of is not. So there's a couple things here. One is, oh yeah, good. So our stuff did come over, but we actually have to get rid of the other stuff that we had thrown in there. All this has got to get deleted. The other issue is, let me pause it. The other issue is, so we have like doubles of a bunch of things, like the audio, that's why it sounds weird, and we have double UI, is that my player is basically ending up where it was last time in the world space. So it ends up over here, even though the world is over here. So we could do it one of two ways. I could either just build the level so that wherever you end up in the one level is where the next level starts off, or I can just reset the position so the player always starts at like 0, 0, or whatever position, you know, I would like. So we're going to do those two things. So I'm just going to save this. I'm going to go ahead and go to level 2, and I'm just going to remove, let's open up level 2, and I'm just going to remove everything, basically. Just delete, I don't think I need any of this. Yeah, just delete all of that. Okay, because now what we're going to do is that is going to carry over. Actually, I need to keep my platform. Everything but the platform and the key. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm just going to leave the platform here. And let me see. So it's 0, 0, and then it's a little bit below origin. All right, so like there's origin, basically. It's that where this cross is. Okay, go ahead and save that. Now I'm going to go back to level 1 because this is where we do the testing. And we're going to go to our script. And right now, if we go to our game controller script, I'm going to open that up. We have this, and that's great. But there's the part where the thing that sends us to the next level, when we hit this door here, that is actually right here, the public void victory. So right now what it does is it loads the next scene, but that's all it does. You can see on the very... Oh, we don't have it here, but... so I wanted to do that, but the other thing I want to do is I'm going to set up that... I'm going to reposition the player, basically. So we're going to go ahead and... Do I have access to it at all? Okay, we'll just search for it. So we'll just search for it at the time that it happens. So we're just going to do GameObject.find, and we're just going to look for the player, capital P, player, and then I want the transform transform. Sorry, that should be dot get component, because I want the transform component. Get component transform dot position. And we're going to set that equal. So basically we're saying, okay, find the game object. That's what this part does, game object.find. And then this part says get the component. The component I want is the transform. And then the attribute of the component I want to control is position. Okay, so, and then we're just going to set it to a new vector2 because it's XYZ coordinates. And we're just going to make it 0, 0, like that. So basically it's just going to reset the player at 0, 0. So that should work. That's what that's going to do. So we'll just go ahead and save it. And go back to here. Alright. And we'll hit play. I should have muted the audio, but we can just keep listening to it. Get over here. Alright. Go in there, and boom, there it is. And all of our stuff is still there. So basically what's going to happen is just going to send whatever was in the first section to the next. And then this will just carry on from level to level to level, which will work good for our game. Obviously, it's not storing the information like an external file. That's a thing we could do as well, but we're keeping things relatively simple. And it makes it easier too, because basically on each, you can set up this statics object group, and everything will go on there, and then that will just go from each section, so you don't have to remake it or redo any of the connections. You can just have that there, and it will just carry on. So it actually will make the other levels even easier. So you can delete all the extra stuff except for the platforms and the level itself, and just carry on the camera and the person, the player, and the game controller and stuff like that. So that's basically how you're going to transfer your character and the stats and stuff from one level to the next.